Hello everyone, this is Jake, your resident content cowboy here, yeehaw, and today I wanted to make an extensive guide for my little feathered friend here, Cramorant. Oh, he's my friend, he comes to my birthday parties, he never talks shit behind my back, I love him, he's Cramorant. Okay, let's get into the move pool for this character. Oh, and also in this video, I'm going to shout out another content creator that I think is just great. He made an awesome video. I'll bring that up later in this video. This isn't going to be a perfect guide, as this game is always evolving and playstyles will, but this is going to give you a basic idea of how to destroy with Cramorant and the 3 builds that I think are pretty viable. Let's start with this moveset here. First off, the first move you always take is Whirlpool. It is so good. It destroys enemy Pokemon. It destroys wild Pokemon. Place it a little bit in front of you on the battlefield and you will just chunk people down. I'll show you some videos of gameplay of this as well. There are 2 directions you can go when replacing Whirlpool. There's Surf and then there is Dive. So let's talk about each one. Surf sends a wave out towards your enemies, dealing damage, and a wave coming back. You also grab an Arrokuda inside that wave. We'll talk about that later. And then Dive has you diving to an area, sort of works like a dash, and you pick up an Arrokuda in your mouth, you deal damage with it, and you can also stack the amount of dives you have. Your second move is Feather Dance. Starts out pretty useless, just decreasing attack and movement speed of opposing Pokemon. Then it's time to decide how you're going to upgrade it. Both options are really good. Hurricane creates a fierce wind dealing damage and it knocks the opposing Pokemon into the air. It's a really great CC. And then we have Air Slash, which is really awesome. It shoots out blades of air attacking Pokemon in the area. Wait, go back to that, Jake. And I feel like this move specifically, Air Slash, is one of the best moves Cramorant has, but Hurricane's also so good. The big thing is the upgrade for Air Slash restores your HP every time you hit a Pokemon with it. Let's talk about his Unite move, Gatling Gulp Missile. It's good, but you can't do anything when you cast it. That's why I think a specific item is really important for him. Using this around big objectives or team fights is pretty good. His Gulp Missile is when a Pokemon uses a move, it catches a form of prey in its mouth. So this is when you're near the water from Surf, Whirlpool, or using Dive. You get an Arrokuda in your mouth and you use it to shoot at people. Back to the Unite move for some reason, Jake. Here we're looking at its basic attack. It becomes a boosted attack with every 3rd attack. Like most Pokemon, it has an ability like this. This boosted attack spits Arrokuda or other Pokemon at opposing Pokemon and dealing damage to opposing Pokemon near the target. So it does increase damage and it bounces to someone else. It's really, really great, especially for the Dive Air Slash Cramorant build that we're going to be looking at. Honestly, the only issue I have with Cramorant right now is that I love him so much that I'm making this guide, and if a bunch of people watch it, I think a bunch of people are going to start picking up Cramorant because he's just too good. Let's take a look at some of the held items that work best for Cramorant. This here is the kit I like for most Cramorant builds. Not this, let me move it around. I think held item, probably the best is eject button. Others work, X attack works, X speed doesn't work too well. I like Wise Glasses, I like a Shell Bell, and I don't like a Muscle Band. I like a Buddy Barrier. So let me talk about each one briefly. Energy Amplifier is also very good. So Buddy Barrier is really great, especially with how Cramorant's Unite move works. I think it's kind of perfectly set up to combo with Buddy Barrier. Buddy Barrier is legit for a lot of Pokemon, but with Cramorant, it's so good given that with its Unite move, it can't really move. Not really, Jake. It can't move at all. So when you use Buddy Barrier, your Unite move gives you and an ally a shield. It obviously is better the more you upgrade your items. I haven't gotten into upgrading my items yet. I wanted to really figure out the best strategy for that. But right now it gives you 20 HP and 20% of max HP. I know it scales much better than that. This is so good when you use Cramorant's Unite move around an objective, like really trying to defend, really trying to score, Rotom, Zapdos, Dreadmaw. These are great moments to use this, and you and whoever you're with are going to become stronger. It keeps you alive so you can finish your Unite move. I just think this is so, so good for Cramorant. A must-have unless you really just want to focus your special attack super hard. Then I might throw in that Energy Amplifier instead. Speaking of Energy Amplifier, I do like this choice because after you use your Unite move, your Pokemon's... Speaking of Energy Amplifier, I do like this choice because after you use your Unite move, the damage you deal is increased. It also gives you a better charge rate, and as you continue to upgrade it, I believe it gives you cooldown reduction on your abilities. Overall, a great item for Cramorant. I prefer the other ones I have stacked, but maybe with more time and with more upgrades, I'll move over to the Energy Amplifier. I could absolutely see it as a great choice. I kind of like this more on a Pokemon where after you use your Unite move, it's time to spam some of your abilities, but a fun choice for Cramorant, for sure. Let's talk about the other two items I like a bit more. The only thing I love more than my family is Shell Bell. You know what? Maybe I love it even more. Don't tell anyone. Shell Bell increases your special attack, and it gives you HP every time you hit someone with an ability, and with Cramorant, you're going to be doing that constantly. This is so, so good. I can't recommend it enough. I love a Shell Bell on Cramorant. I love it on a lot of the attacker Pokemon, but woo, it's so good here. My next item choice, pretty simple, Wise Glasses. It increases special attack by a percentage and gives a special attack bonus. I think it's really good on anyone where you're getting most of your damage from their special attacks. Cramorant actually does a good amount of damage with his attack when he picks up Arrokuda, but I think Wise Glasses is a no-brainer. No-brainer, Poindexter. Do people say Poindexter anymore? You know what? People didn't even say Poindexter when I was saying Poindexter. So now we're going to head into some battles, and I'm going to show you a couple of the different moveset options that I was talking about earlier and the way to play them. Let's do it! First, let's start with moveset 1. This is the most basic moveset. It's also my favorite in some ways. Just because something's basic doesn't mean it isn't really, really good. This is using Surf and Hurricane. So this has the most crowd control. It also does a reliable amount of damage. It's not as advanced as the dive strat, but I do think it's really, really good. So you can see using Surf just helps you clear waves and hurt people in such immense ways. It damages going forward and going back, and with Hurricane, you can knock them up. You can basically guarantee you're getting both hits of Surf and Hurricane. So let's take a look at it in action here. As I use Surf, I use Hurricane to knock them up. They're trying to dive me. It's not going to work. I'm going to get enough health back with these berries, and through using Surf, hits them twice. The Charizard's still trying to dive me here, but it doesn't matter. I'm in my base, and also I gain health back every time I hit with an ability because of that Shell Bell. A little later in the match, here's a good example of using your Unite move in a fun place. I gave my buddy there, Cinderace, a shield, and I also secured that objective and got 2 KOs with it. It's a huge range that you get to attack with, so I was able to zone out all those enemies. And then just using the Hurricane and Surf together, I take down all of these points, and then I'm able to score using that Rotom bonus. I do, right? Oh no, the Rotom goes all the way down. I don't score using that. Sorry, I lied. This moment here I'm over leveled and I have to run from this Charizard, but the nice thing is with Surf, you can run from enemies and do a brutal amount of damage to them. You punish them every time they continue to follow you. Take a look. So again, this build is simple. It's what I'd recommend for beginners. It's also probably my favorite way to play Cramorant right now. Surf, Hurricane with the items that I've suggested. Eject button's really good just for getting out of bad situations. Really, really solid Cramorant build. Let's look at build number 2. In this match, I'm using Air Slash and Surf. So this is sort of the middle ground between the two builds that I like more. This is still really solid. Cramorant has so many good ways to build them. So you're going to obviously take Whirlpool, and you're taking Air Slash instead of Hurricane. Air Slash gives you a lot of great escape potential, which is something really, really nice. And it's going to give you healing options. It's so good. So you see it pushes you back every time you use it. You couple that with Surf, you can move around the battlefield, push yourself out of bad situations, and you can get kills because of it. Sorry, KOs. I accidentally always call them kills. You can get KOs because of it. And just look at how easy it is. And being able to use Air Slash to push yourself away from a situation and angle it so that the Surf hits your enemy moving back. Oh, it's just so good. You want to try to be as close as possible with Air Slash. You can see I try to hit them with all of the blasts of it. You use it almost like a shotgun in an FPS game, if you can. And that way, it just does the most damage possible. Also, once it upgrades, it's going to give you the most health possible. Between your Shell Bell and the ability it gets when it upgrades to heal you, it's really, really difficult to get rid of Cramorant. In this moment, I just want you to watch how much health I get back from that. Wow, look at all the health. Obviously, Eldegoss is keeping me alive too. But that close range Air Slash, once it's upgraded, whew, man, it is so, so brutal. You pair that with the fact that Surf is easier to use than Dive, in my opinion. Dive is the more advanced strategy. It's a lot tougher, at least for me. Maybe your mileage will vary. Why do they say that, by the way? Did people's mileage vary? Maybe if you're using the AC. Okay, anyway, my point is, I think this build is really, really strong. Again, it's a middle ground between the two. The first build is way more controllery. You're controlling the battlefield more. This build, you feel like you get the benefits of the wave clear with Surf and some of the controlling with Surf, and you also get the, I mean, insane amount of life from having Air Slash. So a really great combination, but probably my least favorite of the two because it does feel like a bit of a middle step. Finally, the more advanced build is this Dive Air Slash build. These sort of work in tandem together. So you dive to get close to your enemy, and then you smack them with that Air Slash. Again, almost like a shotgun in an FPS. You get all the damage onto that one person. The only thing I don't like about this build, besides the fact that it's just a little tougher to use, is I find it slightly harder to clear waves of enemies, but it's really powerful. You can just see there, I didn't even have to use Dive. It's just that close range Air Slash is so, so strong. So let's take a look at this combo in action. You dive to the enemy, hit them with your basic attack, and then smack them with Air Slash. Then you can dive again, hit them with your basic attack, Air Slashes back up. It's just kind of a flow that you have to get into. Again, it's a little tough to figure out at first, but once you do it, it's really powerful. I could see someone saying this is the best Cramorant build. It just has the highest skill ceiling, which means it's the toughest to figure out. Ooh, there's a nice Unite move. Trying to save my buddy Garchomp there, but this should take them both out, right? Did I get you too? Yeah. And then I can score. So again, this build is all about the combo of dive, basic attack, Air Slash, dive, basic attack, Air Slash, and you are able to shred people with it. And of course, once you have Air Slash plus, you're keeping yourself alive. So there you go. I hope this guide helps. That is the Cramorant best build guide. All three of the popular builds that work for Cramorant. I'm going to keep playing this Pokemon and trying to figure out better ways to build it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you played Cramorant? If you have, which one of these builds do you like the most? If you don't play Cramorant, I'm just curious, what is your Pokemon and what's your build, as basically as you can explain it, if that makes sense. Thank you all for watching and listening, and as I said before, I did want to give a shout out to what I thought was a really great piece of content created on YouTube for Pokemon Unite. Let me pull up this dude, Yo Cuppa Joe. He made a microtransaction and currency farming guide for Pokemon Unite. It's really well thought out, really well explained. I wanted to make something like it, but honestly, there's no point. This is perfect. Go check it out. I'll have a link to his video in the description. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for listening. I love you. I will see you on the battlefield. I will be the person without my family because I have disowned them, but I will have my sweet, sweet Cramorant. See you next time. Mwah!